What's going on, guys? Welcome to T3G. My name is Fullthrottle, and today we're doing a review of the Samsung Galaxy Note 4. We're actually going to be doing a twofer on this. We're going to do the review on this and a real quick review on the case that I got for it, but that'll be here after the phone itself. So let's go ahead and get right to it with let's cover the specs first, and then we'll go in on my thoughts on the actual phone. So right off the bat, the dimensions of this phone, this is in millimeters. It's 153.5 by 78.6 by 8.5 millimeters, and it's 176 grams. The display is a 5.7 inch display, quad HD. It's 2560 by 1440 is the resolution, so as you can imagine, it's going to be very crisp. You have a 2.7 gigahertz quad-core processor. Now that's the one that I have. I know depending who the company is that you go through for your provider, and also where you are in specific countries, it does vary on the processor. So you can get the 2.7, which mine is, or you can get the 1.9 gigahertz octa-core processor. Once again, that just varies where you are and who the provider is. This comes with 3 gigabytes of RAM, and it also comes with 32 gigabytes of internal memory. And then it does support an additional 128 gigabyte micro SD cards. Network wise, it does 4G, of course, the LTE and all that. You do have a front camera, 3.7 megapixels, and a rear camera at 6 megapixels. Very nice photos on this. We'll go over that as well. It comes with KitKat right off the bat, which is Android 4.4. Let's see here, a 3220 milliamp fast charging battery. That's actually something I want to go over as well. And yeah, that's basically about it for the basic specs. You will see them on the screen. Now let's go into the first things first. I want to go ahead and talk about the actual screen. Now, like I said, it is a quad HD screen, and it is almost 6 inches, and it's a 2560 by 1440 resolution. Now what that means is basically you're just going to get really crisp photos, really nice colors. When you're watching video, of course, it's going to be amazing. But that also depends on the software part of things as well, because I am having a little bit of an issue where I can't adjust the resolution in the videos. So when I'm watching YouTube, I can only watch on 720p instead of actually adjusting it to 1080 or even 1440. So that is a problem that apparently is something that certain people are experiencing, and all my software is up to date, so at the current moment there's nothing I can do to resolve that. I think that's just a software issue that I have to wait for an update on. But overall, the images on it, very crisp. The screen itself, the color is very nice. And now that, of course, going over the screen, like I said, by having the resolution you're going to have amazing quality, but being that it's a 2560 by 1440 screen and it has a lot of pixels, some people would worry about the battery and how much that screen actually does drain the battery. Overall, it does a very good job. If I'm using it, I use a medium, moderate to very heavy usage. I do watch Netflix on it, YouTube, I take pictures with it, video. And this is not on an everyday basis, so that's why I say modern to high, but I do tend to do that quite a bit. And with that being said, I can definitely get a full charge on this battery for the day if I use it to that extent. If I'm using it a lot less throughout the day, then I can definitely go a day and a half, if not 2 days, without having to charge the battery. Now, this battery has gotten better over time. At first, the first time I got it, I did think it was draining a little quicker than what I'm used to with my Galaxy S4, which I reviewed about a year ago. So it did seem like originally, like I said, that it was draining a little faster, but once I started using it over time, it did seem like the battery was actually did get better, which is awesome. I mean, that's, you know, when you have these kind of specs, I expect faster drainage of the battery, but it seems to be not the issue. It looks like Samsung has done a very good job with making sure that the battery is also in check while you have these amazing specs. Going into that, we do have the quad-core processor in this, and all I can say is just it's absolutely smooth. There's no delay on anything that I've noticed yet. Anytime I open up an app or close an app, it's almost instantaneous. Now obviously software is going to matter as well, so depending on how well, how well that particular version of that software is. That's going to also depend on how well it loads, even if you have some of the best hardware-wise specs. Depending on how well the software is running, that'll also cause delays and stuff like that. So in this case, overall, it's very, very smooth. I mean, no matter what I do, no matter what I press on, it basically just opens it right up. It's almost instantaneous. I haven't experienced one issue. Obviously, that also comes with the 3 gigabytes of RAM and the processor. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get that kind of performance. That being said, I can definitely have multiple applications open, and you can close out of them pretty easily. You can just hit the tab here on the left and basically swipe to the left, and that'll remove them off your list. That's one thing I did have to get used to between the Note 4 and Samsung Galaxy S4. This, I believe, I already had this for about a month now, so I can't remember. I don't have my S4 anymore. But I believe the S4, these were a little reversed. This was back, and this was a, I can't remember what this button was, but now with the Note 4, this is actually to open up the recent apps and to remove them, which is, it took a minute to get used to that, but overall, once you're used to it, it's a good feature to have. Of course, you do still have your physical button. Now, the physical button is able to do a fingerprint reader for additional security. It is not something that I personally use, but it is an option that you can do. From what I understand, I haven't tested it myself, but it's not the greatest fingerprint reader at the current moment, so it is something that a lot of people are hoping that Samsung does improve. That being said, you of course, let's go on the physical part of it. You do get, of course, your headphone jack at the top. The button for turning on and off is, or putting the screen to sleep, is on the side this time around. Unlike my S4, it was at the top. And then, of course, you have, you do have your volumes on the other side. Bottom, same as always, micro USB, and then you do have a stylus as well, which is something I'm still getting used to using. It works overall fairly well. I haven't noticed any issues. It does detect my writing really well. I mean, honestly, I don't use it a lot to be able to actually focus on that point, but it is a handy thing to have, especially if you're somebody that prefers to write down something by hand instead of trying to use the keyboard that's on here. And you can actually use it for other things as well. You can use it for texting as well if that's something that you're interested in, and it detects pretty good. It's something that I did play around a little bit with, and it does detect the writing that you can do. And my writing is pretty messy, and it still did a pretty good job. Alright, going from there, let's go talk about the camera. The camera is just an absolute amazing feature on this. The S4 did have a little bit of problem. I know it did not have stability, which was an issue because when I was taking pictures, it definitely would blur out some of the pictures because my hand isn't as steady. With this, you don't have to worry about that anymore. The picture quality on this is very nice. I mean, that's actually an understatement. It's absolutely amazing when it comes down to quality of the picture. With it being stability control, you can definitely take a great picture and not worry about it being blurry. And I have, once again, a very shaky hand, and it does a great job stabilizing that for the picture. So it does a great job on that as well. Now, it does have the capability for the camcorder aspect of it. It does have the capability of recording in 4K, which is awesome, especially if you're somebody that's doing possibly YouTube or any kind of recording with it. This is going to give you the best quality possible. And then of course you can downscale that to 1080p when you're editing the video, or you can set it to not record on 4K and go to 1080 if you prefer. The 4K is just absolutely amazing. It definitely, it looks crisp. Even the front-facing camera can do it, and it just looks absolutely amazing. There's really not much more I can say besides that. The quality is just simply brilliant. I mean, when you do the recording and you watch it on the actual screen, I mean, everything just makes it look even better. But once you watch it on a computer screen after you record and you transfer the files, they're just spectacular. I mean, Don't get me wrong, it's not a professional camcorder by any means, but that doesn't mean you're not able to, if you wanted to, record videos on it and still get a great quality out of it. Also, while talking about the outside, I do also want to mention the speaker. The speaker itself is a loud speaker overall. When watching videos or listening to music, I would definitely recommend, of course, using a set of headphones, because it is a rear-facing speaker. Even though it is loud enough, because it's rear-facing, that sound doesn't really transfer over too well to the person that's watching the screen. Maybe if somebody was behind the phone, yes, but when you're watching the screen, it doesn't matter that it's loud enough, because it is a rear-facing speaker. It's just it doesn't get the sound to you as well, especially in louder places. So if you're somewhere where it's big crowd or there's a lot of background noise, you're really not going to hear the speaker that well. I do hope, I know there's companies out there that do have a front-facing speaker, some tablets, some phones that are recently doing this, and I do hope that Samsung does revisit that and at some point figures out a way to put it as a front-facing speaker, because I believe that's going to definitely help out the feature for the speaker part. Of course, that being said, there's not a lot of times I do personally use the speaker. I always use either headphones or I have external speakers plugged to it, but usually it's some kind of headphone system.
And here we're going to be doing a quick demonstration of the sound quality of the speaker and how much you actually get out of it.
What's going on, ladies and gents? Cerebro here for T3G, and today we're going to be doing a review on my new phone, the LG G3. Now, I went ahead and picked this up because I really wanted something different. I thought the Samsung was going to be kind of the phone I was going to be using for a long time, but there was just a lot of new technology coming out, a lot of new stuff, and I was really excited about it, so I had to jump on something new, and that was the LG G3. And let's just get into it. So here it is. Now the biggest thing I'll point out right away is the bezel, right? So this is a really thin bezel in comparison to the Note 4, even without a case on. The actual bezel itself here, right? So this is the, if you go face to face, right?
Of course, I want to talk about a little bit more on the physical aspect of this phone. It's very, very thin phone, very light, extremely light. I did have to get a case for it, and we'll go into the review there in just a moment. But it does have a very nice flat size, so when you do grip it, if you don't have a case, it actually still feels really good in your hands. Because it is so small though, and it is so light, it almost feels like you can easily break this. But there is a test on YouTube, Unbox Theory, Lou did, where he tried to bend it, and it is not an easy phone to bend. So you do not have to worry about it being fragile. It definitely has durability. The only issue that I've experienced so far myself, I do have a little scratch in the bottom right corner. Honestly, I'm not sure where it came from. I usually put this phone in a pocket where there's nothing else in it, so I'm not sure how I've received that scratch. But it had to be something that, it had to have been something like keys that really got next to it and scuffed it up pretty decently. Now it is one line scratch, so once again, I mean, it had to have been something tough to do it, but overall this is still a very, very durable phone. And real quick, while we're talking about the outside, it is very easy to get to your battery. The back is very easy to, right here on the side, that you're gonna, if you have any kind of nails, that you can just grab and just pull it off very gently though. Make sure you don't just rip it off and snap it on accident. And then inside, of course, you have once again the battery, and then you do have your SIM card tray, and of course where you're going to put in your SD card, your micro SD. So yeah, guys, that's the review for the phone, and let's go ahead and real quick go into the case review here. Now this case, I picked this up on eBay for $6. Yeah, I know it's, everybody worries when you hear that kind of price range for a case, honestly for anything. When you hear a $6 price range, especially something that you're going to use with tech, you're worried about it. But in all honesty, it's actually a very good case, and I was really pleasantly surprised about it. I was not gonna lie, I was worried about it as well when I saw it for $6, but I decided to take the chance just to see how it worked out. and I like it quite a bit. The two pieces that it comes with a harder plastic, and then of course the rubber that sits around it. You take off the harder plastic to put the rubber piece on the phone itself, a lot easier, and then you put the harder plastic over that. Now you don't have to disassemble the case to put the phone in there. It just requires a little more, I guess, force. I don't want to put it that way because it's not so much force where you think you might damage the phone, but it is force where you will have to push on it a little bit to get it in there. Now the case is a eBay case. It's the Hybrid Armor Shockproof Protective Hard Case. It's an unbranded case. There's really no brand for it. It says it's generic. It's made out of silicone gel and rubber. It's a matte finish. It's a fitted case. It is for Samsung, and it does have a kickstand to it as well, which comes in handy depending where you're watching your videos on your phone. Really, that's the only thing I use it for, is while I'm watching like Netflix or YouTube and I have somewhere to place the phone down. That is what it's basically perfect for. I did like my kickstand that I had on the HTC Thunderbolt, which was automatically on the phone, so I was looking for a case that had that same feature, and this one did have it. And once again, for a $6 case, it is an amazing case actually, and I definitely would recommend it if you're looking for something that's really good and that is not a lot of money. Now the case does also come with a protective or a screen protector. The only problem with that is I'm pretty bad at putting the screen protectors on, so I actually ended up messing up the screen protector. Ended up being really bubbly, but it is something that does come with the case. So for $6, not only are you getting the case itself with the kickstand, but it does come with a protective cover on it.
What's nice about this case compared to my model case for my S4 is this actually has a better cutout for the charger, so when fitting in different size chargers, it actually gives you more room to play with. Also as well, for the headphone jack, it definitely has a bigger cutout than the model case that I had for the S4. This actually definitely allows basically any kind of headphone jack can fit in here and not give you any kind of issues. And as you can see, all the holes on the case are set up properly for everything that's on the phone, even for the stylus.
So overall, I definitely recommend the Note 4 to anybody that's looking in for any kind of Android phone. There's definitely a lot of other phones out there that I still have to get my hands on and review and test out before I can say it's a better phone than any other Android phone that's available. You'll see, if you haven't by now, you'll see Cerebro's review on his LG G3, and I know he's very happy with that phone as well. So comparatively speaking, between that review and this review, you guys do have two current phones that you can kind of judge on from those reviews. I can't say if this is better than the LG. I do like his LG from a little bit that I've had any hands-on experience with it, but I definitely love the Samsung Note 4 here. So if you are in the market for a phone, you definitely can't go wrong with the actual Samsung Note 4. It's definitely a recommendation from us. So that's it, guys. That's the review on the Galaxy Note 4 and also the case, the eBay case, the $6 eBay case. Make sure to stick around for more reviews and check out t3gtech.com, and we'll see you guys in the next video.